Hello, my lovely anatomists and physiologists. We are here ready to talk about meiosis, which is the process of cell division for the production of gametes. Gametes, remember, this is our fancy name for sex cells, or the egg cell and the sperm cell. And this process is occurring in the gonads. So this is either testes or ovaries, and we will see some differences occurring in the production of sperm versus the production of the egg cell. When we talk about meiosis being cell division for the production of gametes, we can also talk about this as what's called reduction division. Reduction division. And we are calling it reduction division because we are reducing the chromosome count by half. So up here in the corner, let's remind ourselves of the term diploid and the term haploid, where we can abbreviate diploid as 2N, and this is talking about a complete set of what we can call, remember, homologous pairs. And in humans, although this isn't a universal number for all diploid organisms on the planet, but in humans, our diploid count is 46 chromosomes. When we talk about a haploid cell, we're going to use the lowercase n as our universal abbreviation here, and this is saying a half set of chromosomes. So in this case, you don't have pairs. And so exactly half of 46 would be 23. And so the human haploid number is 23. And that's going to be the number that we're going to see in both the sperm cells and the egg cells that are produced through meiosis. And that's what we're talking about when we say reduction division. And when we talk about reduction division, we're going to see we start out with a diploid cell, which is going to either be called spermatogonia or oogonia, depending on if we are in the testes or in the ovary. And we'll see that this cell will undergo the process of mitosis, which you learned in A&P1 as prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase. So I learned this really cool hand gesture to help you remember the stages of prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase for mitosis. So if you bring your hands together and like cross over your fingers like you're holding your own hand, this is representing prophase, where 3 major things happen, and the fingers are representing the DNA condensing into chromosomes. So that's one event. You also have the nuclear envelope disappearing and the spindle apparatus forming. And then you can bring your hands together like in a prayer position. And this is representing metaphase, where those chromosomes line up in the middle of the cell. And then you can pull your hands apart from each other to represent anaphase, where those homologous chromosomes separate, and they're going, the sister chromatids separate, and they're moving toward opposite ends of the cell. And then bring your hands together as 2 fists to represent telophase, where you're getting the production of 2 new nuclei. You're getting the DNA relaxing back into chromatin, nuclear envelopes reforming, and spindle apparatus disappearing. Okay, so that's mitosis. When we look at meiosis, we see a lot of similarity happening there. So what we're going to see at the end of this mitotic event, we're going to get our 2 cells. They're both diploid. One of these is going to continue functioning as the spermatogonia or the oogonia, so that is the stem cell. Whereas the other cell we will designate as a primary spermatocyte or primary oocyte. again, depending on if we're in the testis or the ovary. The primary spermatocyte is going to go through what's called meiosis 1. Now, here's one of the key differences between mitosis and meiosis. Meiosis has 2 divisions, so 2 rounds of prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase. We'll see in this division that the homologous chromosomes separate. And we're going to end up with 2 new cells. And these cells will be haploid. And we will call these either secondary spermatocytes or secondary oocytes, again, depending on if we're in testes or ovaries. And then we'll see each one of these cells goes through an additional division. And we call this division meiosis 2. So we're going to do a prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase 2. Prophase 2, metaphase 2, anaphase 2, telophase 2. And here we see the sister chromatids separate. And this results in 4 haploid cells. And we call these our gametes. So we're either going to have sperm cells or an ovum at the end. That's our gamete. Now, this is the quick and dirty, easy breezy version of meiosis. If you want a little bit more of a detailed overview, I'm going to link for you the Amoeba Sisters video on meiosis. So take a little bit of time to watch. They can do it in a much more colorful, memorable, quicker way than what I can do for y'all. So please check them out. All right, up next, I'm going to talk about the sameness of the male and the female reproductive body types. So stay tuned and don't forget, as always, take care of yourselves and each other.